before we get into things, check that out. Sheesh. Anyway, this video is not about that. This video is about installing these coilovers. I realized I forgot to film an intro yesterday. So what's going on, everybody? Today we are getting this thing off the eBay coilovers and putting on the new BCs that I got for it. So this is gonna be kind of a weird video because I started yesterday and did the rears and it was like 70 degrees outside. Today it's 30 degrees outside and we're gonna be moving into the garage. So the rears are done, but after this we'll follow the rear clips and then we'll get into the fronts. So we're doing the fronts right now as we speak, but the video's gonna be kind of all jumbled. But anyway, let's get this thing in the garage. Let's get cracking on these coilovers and get these nice BCs in there and get rid of this eBay garbage. So oddly enough, I guess this car isn't on rear coilovers, sorta kinda. It is on a adjustable spring perch with a spring here, and I don't see any branding. I'd imagine this is the same brand as the front, but the shock is a Coney with no adjustable dampening or no lock collars for preload. So I don't know, maybe this is part of the kit. I have no idea. I don't use cheap coilovers. I've never have. So, but this is not an adjustable shock. And usually with coilovers, or at least nice ones, you have an adjustable collar and you have an adjustable shock because they work together. This one doesn't have that, which is weird. But anyway, I already got the spring out. You can see it relationship to the BC, way longer, way thicker. So this car will be able to go a fair bit lower. Here's the collar or the perch, and now we just basically got to pry this out. I believe it's just kind of stuck on there, and then we got the two top hat things, which if you guys remember when I bought this car, it has the rear shock tower reinforcement plate, which puts the studs down. And there we have it. Here's the shock. I already had the top or the bottom bolt undone, but so here is our reinforcement plate studs, and I honestly don't think these are coming up easily. I think this is somehow bonded to the chassis. So I'm gonna have to get these studs out of the BCs. Check out how blown these rear shocks were. Compressed it all the way and you can see how it's very slowly rebounding. Yeah, it's not supposed to rebound that slow. It's supposed to be pretty quick. So that would explain why this car drove horribly in the rear, at least. Here's the method. I got one out, as you can see. They're just a knurled bottom bolt that's just pressed in. So, vise, 16 mil. I think it could be like a 15 would fit as well. So basically, what you need to do here is press it out, obviously. But it's got that bottom part that is flush at the base, and it's doesn't allow you any room. So you can't just put it in like this, because obviously you're not going to be pressing it anywhere. So what you have to do is get the socket around it so that it has obviously a place to travel, and then just squish it in the vise like this, and eventually it'll press this part down into the socket, and you'll be free just like this. And then this will work with the plates I have. It really takes a lot of force. Like I got to use the hammer to get it. We're starting. We're almost out. I might just be able to hammer it out the rest of the way. Let's see. Yep. So there you have it. Use the press and then hit it with a hammer and you'll get it right out. So now this should go into the car easy peasy. All right. So now before we lift the knuckle and hook up the bottom strut bolt, I got to put the new spring and the perch in there. So the adjuster goes on the top. Then we got spring and the bottom. Just like that. And now we jack up the hub. Alright, so the spring's in with the collar, and now we basically just adjust the shock to meet them. And the basically rule of thumb with preload is you want the spring to be snug, a little bit compressed, and nothing more than that. So it's pretty much good where it's at. I'm gonna go up a couple more pumps, and then we're gonna have to thread this coil down. So these are set way shorter than what I'm gonna be running right now, but obviously because, yeah, I'm not slamming it right now, so. want to be careful not to cross thread this. It's very easy to do so. You don't have to be nearly perfect. It should go in by hand to start. If it doesn't, then you're not lined up. That goes in very easily. I don't know, I guess I'm not there yet. There we go. And that's one side completed. Shock, spring are all in, everything's ready to go. Wheels ready to put on. Hopefully the height's where I want it. I gotta match the other spring perch to this one, so I'm pretty stupid for not doing that before I put this one in. But whatever, I'll eyeball it. Like I said 100 times, this isn't the final ride height, so we're just putting these in. So. Funny enough, this side doesn't even have the collar on here, the adjuster. So this side was max low, the other side had the adjuster in there. So that was lost somewhere around the way. So this car wasn't even when I was riding. I never really noticed it looking at it, but surely enough. So E36 house in full effect. Eustace is jocking me on the Mitos, but this looks good. This is the S54 car, by the way. I'm just gonna put this in my coilover video. No, Mito. Nitto is the tire. Mito is the wheel. Man, I've been saying Mito all this time. Jeez.
You can't say Bissell either.
It's Bissell.
Bye, son.
Man, look at this S54 car. We're both rocking two-tone Vate. It's locked. Oh, the door is just broken, actually. Oh, it is locked. And the door's broken. God! It's not even worth my time.
So you don't know how to open broken doors.
Yeah, this is how you open a broken E36 door.
Knee.
The stance is very important.
Knee right there. Oh.
Dude, this door is really broken.
Nah.
Oh my God, half the... Oh my Lord. Is that from driving?
It's acetone.
Is it like dark black or actually? Oh, it is actually black.
It's black. These are painted.
Two-tone.
Sure
I thought this is just from aggressive driving. You wore off the blue. It's got acetone. White pans. It's just blue. Beautiful car. So this is where my car's sitting after doing the rear coils. I haven't done the fronts yet. I've been a little lazy. But I got the ride height pretty much identical to how it was. No more junk. I can't wait to drive this thing. But tomorrow I'll do the fronts and then we'll film that. Look, that's how bad my alignment is. You can see the inner part of this tire is bald. So the toe on this car is all goofed up. And I was going to do the inner tie or the outer tie rods in this video, but I think this car needs F cabs, and I think I'll just save the tie rods for the F cab video to kind of have another suspension video, and then we'll just stick to coilovers in this one. And we'll go for a drive and our initial impressions of the coilover rather than too much suspension work. Here we have it, the eBay junk. So basically all you gotta do is get the ABS sensor and the wheel speed sensor, or whatever, the brake sensor out of the bracket, and then the 3 top hat bolts, 3 bottom bolts, and the sway bar. And one thing to note is that the BCs actually come with their own sway bars, shorter ones. I guess it's probably because of the location of where they mount on the BCs. So luckily enough, Lewis threw these in there for me, which is nice. But anyway, let's get in here and start dismantling. Oh, I take back what I said about the end links. So, unbeknownst to me, since this is a non-M, it uses the sway bar end links that mount to the control arm. So you can see this really short little sway bar end link right here. But the M3, which is what these coilovers are off of, has longer, so it mounts from the sway bar to the shock, like kind of most cars that you see. I did not know this, but so I'm using BC M3 kit essentially, or I guess it doesn't really matter what, because at the end of the day the sway bar is the same on the cars. It's just non-M mounts here and M mounts on the shock. But if the shock has a spot for this, then this will mount where it's supposed to and go into the shock, and I'm just going to get rid of the bracket on the control arm. Did not know this. That's an interesting realization. So thank God he threw these in, because otherwise I would not be able to do this, because I would have no sway bar. So that's something nice to note. 'Cause 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 So this is all going in the garbage, and you can see, oops, you can see ball joints are blown, bottom bushing blown. So this definitely contributed to this car's poor handling. So sway bar is undone. Now we just gotta pull out the ABS and brakes out of the slots there. Easy enough. And now the hub should just pull away just like that and hang from the brake line. I'm gonna go get my jack really quick. Alright, we got the tension off. So you can see the shock is loose. And now we go up top, undo the 3 strut mounts. Just gonna zip them off and let them fall. Oh, something's still holding it. Oh God, I got it stuck in the... Boom. Goodbye, eBay. So here is the JOM coilover assembly. Takes about 5 minutes, literally. If you're scared to do suspension on an old BMW, you shouldn't be, or at least E36, E46. E34s and those 5 series, you gotta do welding. These are simple bolt in, bolt out, which is the best thing ever because, yeah, no additional skilled work is needed. Coils were actually the first major task I've ever done on an old BMW. When I had my E46, before I ever kind of learned how to work on it myself, I tackled coilovers. I stripped the clamshell bolt, I over tightened it, and that was ridiculous, but anyways, I got it done. So, the BCs are labeled front left, front right. We're doing front left. Let's get a little side by side here. So you can see this has no room for sway bar. That's the sway bar because these are M3, I guess. Yeah, well, it says 3 Series M3, but I guess when you get the BC, since it comes to sway bar, it'll always kind of have the M3 location for you. But I'm going to thread this out a little bit to reach the length of this because, like I said, we're not fitting the wheels and I want this car to be functional. So to reinstall, you want to do the 3 top hats first and then jack up the knuckle to meet the bottom. So we're going to get this up in there. I might have to go to the other side and disconnect the sway bar to fit this, because as you can see, it's too long to hook up right now. I remember my first time doing this on the E46, I like quit for the day because I was like, well, the sway bars don't fit. And I just realized that I had the other side still hooked up, so I couldn't move the sway bar. So I pretty much just have to angle the sway bar to fit. So I'm gonna head over to the other side and undo the sway bar really quick, and then we'll come back over here. Now you can see I can move the sway bar down so I can give myself some extra room. So now we should have an easy time hooking it up. BC has a little Allen slot there so it doesn't spin, so you need a 5mm Allen. And luckily he gave me the nuts for these, which is nice. So I believe we got to do it like this. Boom. There she is. Oop, I caught my glove. Yep. Voila. there we have it. Coilovers in, everything's tightened, locking collars, sway bars in. I just gotta pop my my brackets back in, and not my brackets, my lines back in their little slots, and this side is done. So a little note to you guys is you're supposed to tighten these down when the car's under its own weight. So I'm gonna write myself a little whiteboard note, and when I lower the car, then I will tighten down these top hat struts, these 3 top bolts. And now we'll go the other side, and I'm not gonna make you guys watch the same thing twice. So we'll do our little YouTube magic trick. So the car is uneven because it's on wood, but I may have botched the height a little bit for the front here. It's a little high. I matched these up, but I forgot that those springs are really soft, and it has helper springs, so that compresses a lot. So these are definitely going to be higher in the front, but it does not matter because how many times do I have to say it? These are going on next week. The car doesn't really have to be driven. I guess maybe it will, but I don't care if I'm what's it called? Not raking, Cali leaning. Can't remember the term when the rear is lower than the front. That's how it's going to be. It is what it is. I'm not going to adjust these right now. So now that the car's on the ground, we're going to tighten down the top hats. It's like 18 foot-pounds, barely anything. And then let's go take this thing for a drive and see how nice she drives on brand new coilovers, or nearly brand new coilovers. Not eBay coilovers, at least. Should be pretty nice. Alright, I'm going to get out of my Dickie suit here. We're going to go for a ride. Yeah, so we're definitely doing F-cabs on this in the next video, because look at what happens when I torque this down. Watch the wheel, it's going to move backwards. You see how it kind of moves backwards? Yes, whichever way you torque the car's going to want to go that way, but you can, it might be hard to see on camera, but you can just tell it's kind of back, but also a little out, like it goes in a little bit. That's the bad F-cabs. I went under there and pried at them. They are pretty bad. It's sort of these lug nuts. So next video, F-cabs and tie rods, and then this car will be pretty solid. I might fit the wheels first because I'm sure I'm gonna probably want to do those before anything. The F-cabs aren't like dire, so I'll probably just kind of wait on it and get the car all stancy pants first, but we'll see. And we are off with the new suspension, and I'll tell you right off the bat, the front's a little higher. I'll show you guys that when we get back. So all that weird like screeching noises that I was kind of talking about when I would like go full lock in a park was the tires hitting the fender liner and stuff. So that noise is gone. So that was a tire issue, or a ride height issue with my tire sizes. So that's an issue that we don't have to worry about. And as far as that, we just gotta go drive a little bit and see how she feels. So we got M3. I will say, right off the bat, which almost doesn't even make sense to me, like the steering response and just the way it kind of feels is a lot better. Like the front end feels a lot more planted. I think that has something to do with the fact that we're running M3 sway bar links now instead of 328 ones, which, like I said earlier in the video, are the short little guys. So it's some engineering related thing. The mass, the center of mass where they mount is different, you know, control arm to now the shock body. So beyond what I can describe right now, I read an explanation about it, so that kind of makes sense as to why it feels a little bit better. I still have that weird like rotational thump. I'm nearly positive that is related to my F-cabs or my destroyed tie rods. So those two will be coming in the next video, or like I said, maybe after I put the wheels on, we'll see. But it does need F-cabs. I was gonna try to get around doing that, but we're gonna do them, and I'm gonna go with aftermarket ones because Eustace told me that trying to press on the OEM ones is gonna be a pain in the ass, and I totally believe him. So you can hear, like, when I hit bumps, which first off, the car feels a lot better, but you can hear, especially from the passenger front, it's really, that F-cab is really bad, allowing the control arm to, you can probably even hear it. The control arm has a pretty decent amount of movement. It makes for a pretty gnarly clunk. But aside from that, like, this is a pretty crappy road, and the car feels way better, way less jittery. Those other coils were just super, which is typical of eBay suspension. It's just like overly like hypersensitive. You feel every little thing, but you feel it in such a, it's so hard to explain, but you feel it in such a way that just like makes the car so obnoxious to drive. You feel every little bump because the dampers are just garbage. And that's where all the difference comes in. The springs, you know, whatever. This is a big bump right here. Oh yeah, that feels, the car feels like it's on quality suspension again. I mean, it was just night and day. Explaining it's hard. If you were to ride in the car, night and day difference. You can just tell I'm on a more quality suspension, the way it hits bumps. It's stiffer suspension, which is the crazy thing. So the car feels better, but it is stiffer. So you hardly even notice that difference. Like significantly stiffer spring rates. I think these are 1012 or 1014. And those eBays wouldn't be any more than like 6.8, 6.9, 7.9. So maybe not significantly stiffer, but certainly stiffer. And but regardless, when you have the nice shocks to dampen it, it doesn't even matter. That's why Broadway statics, which are my preferred coilover. I'm just gonna come out and say that I'm not a huge BC guy. BC usually is something I'll put on my cars because of ease of access to it, like whether I find them used like this set for a good deal or whatever it may be, wait times and stuff like that. That's really the only reason why I ever do BCs now. Broadway or open road tuning, I haven't run those, but I hear a lot of great things about them, so I would like to run them. But that's not to say anything's wrong with BC. It's just it's bottom barrel of like nice coils, I would say, you know. So, but yeah, this thing feels a lot. I got sidetracked right there. I don't even know what I was talking about. I was saying, like, Broadways, you can run like a 20K spring and a 24K spring, which is stiff, and the car will still, and this is what people don't get. People love to talk trash about stiff coilovers or coilovers in general. A lot of the older guys, you don't understand that when a quality company makes they design their shock bodies for the spring rate, and what you don't get is when it's designed for that spring rate, the car rides just as good as stock. You would never believe it until you rode it. My E46, my E36 M3 on Broadways, the cars ride like butter, like absolute butter. And that just all comes down to the quality put in, and Broadways are really good. Not to make this a Broadway ad, but Broadways are good coilovers. But anyway, this car drives much more like a car, much more like a BMW should at that, I guess. It's literally a night and day difference, man. Like, I'm about to hit a big bump. Not even bad. The alignment's garbage, so the car just dive bombed. But as far as unrelated to the alignment, it hits bumps nice. E36s are absolute rattle cans regardless, so there's just road noise and bumps galore, and you just hear the creaking, and it's so obnoxious, these cars. They're just, that's the car's fault. But as far as the suspension, it feels really nice. So I'm thrilled. Finally off the eBay stuff. Not to mention now we can go lower, and we're gonna need to go lower to fit the new BBSs, which I'm just gonna forewarn you guys now. You may be able to tell from my fitment video, or my test video at the beginning of this video. This car is gonna be pretty stancy. That was not my intentions with it. My intentions were to put the Gaudis on, which are 8 squared with a low offset, but regardless, 8 inches. But very doable. Perfect size. I could have had decent sized tires. The car would have looked good, drove good, and that's what these BBSs are supposed to be. These BBSs are supposed to be my backup wheels, 8.5 squared. Again, perfect fitment for an E36. So, oh my God, they like deforested this. Wow, you never used to be able to see in the woods right here. Now you can. You guys can't see it, but that's kind of sad. That looks horrible. But anyway, I once again lost my train of thought. So they're supposed to be 8.5 squared. Now they're 8.5 and 10. The 10 is literally the max you can fit in the back of an E36, pretty much. I have to go low with the car, so it's just gonna turn into another stancy boy car, which I hate, but at the end of the day, this is probably one of the most boring cars I have in my fleet, to be honest with you guys, so I really don't care. And this car will not stay forever. I wanna make it cool, make it fun by making it cool, because making it cool makes it fun for me. And then, you know, content out of it, pictures, and then we'll call her and I'll sell it and stuff. But regardless, the new E34 will be more of a functional daily-ish car. I still have the 540, and I took it off Facebook actually because I think I'm gonna kind of hold on to it for now. We'll kind of see what I do there. But So yeah, just a little forewarning, the car will be pretty stanced. But anyway, car feels a million times better. We got up to speed, hit some pretty crappy roads. I am thrilled. For the price I paid for these, you cannot complain. BC's at pretty much half price, so I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this coilover video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video with this car, which will be fitting some BBS's. So I am very excited. Catch you guys in the next one.